One of the things that confused me on my journey was the understanding about the spirit and the soul. The spirit and the soul are literally two different things, but they are used interchangeably. And because they're used interchangeably, people like myself believe that it was similar. It was basically the same thing, but it's not. And I was hoping that I could explain it. And it's like maybe even with me explaining it, it probably still doesn't make much sense. But look, I'll try. So starting off, I would like to dibble and dabble in different religions around the world. Let's take, for example, different pockets of Native American religions, like their spirituality. I wouldn't say religion, but in their spirituality, you have tree spirits and spirit of the wind and spirit of the water. And it doesn't just stop with Native American people. The belief and knowledge of spirits is seen throughout the rest of the world. And all over the world, our ancestors, the ones who practiced spirituality predating the religions of Abraham, they understood a lot more about spirit than we do today. And the best way for me to describe what a spirit is the spirit is literally the breath of life. It's a code that activates the vessel. So, if you are a person, what tethers you to this earth plane in this dimension is an activation code. And that activation code is literally the breath of life. It is what drives, it's the force that drives the nerves and the cells throughout your body. It is what activates your mind and your consciousness. Your spirit is the key. So every living person has a spirit, but not every living person has a soul. And you have animals that have spirit. Again, it's the code, it's a key to existing in this plane. The spirit is a recorder. It is a record, okay? A record keeper. And sometimes the spirit is beyond physical, right? What I mean by that is there is such thing as ghosts, all right, which people would say is spirits. But that said spirit is literally a record. And sometimes that record is full of pain and trauma. Sometimes that record is tethered to a place or a location. It doesn't have to be like a house or a home. It could be somewhere out in the wilderness. And what it is replaying or reliving is the experiences. And it is tethered to that said location because of its experience while it was tethered or while the living person or animal was alive. So I'm trying to not make it spooky or make it, too odd and, make people checking over their shoulder, and jumping when they hear something happen in their house. But the spirit and the soul are two different things. A soul does not haunt. A soul does not stay. A soul is not tethered to the earth plane at all whatsoever. So what we experience is what we communicate or what we hear. Though for those who are intuitive to that particular electromagnetic field, we are hearing either a individual personalized experiences, thoughts, and a lot of us don't even know that sometimes we're not speaking with the spirit, we're speaking with something beyond that. But that's another subject. For now, moving back to what a spirit is. So I know a lot of us heard the phrase, "Oh, I felt it in my spirits. I knew something wasn't right," or "I knew this would happen." And the intuition and spirit, all right, can be used interchangeably, but they're not necessarily the same. The spirit is not always in response or in relation to the events that happen to someone personally. But when someone says they felt it in their spirit, they saying that they felt it within. We are multi-dimensional beings. There's levels to this. You have the physical, you have the mental, which is not, it's not physical. Although a lot of people believe that it is, because without the physical, there is no mental to some people. But we have the mental, which is like your consciousness, and then you have the spirit, and then for some of us, there's a soul. And people believe like everyone has a soul, but that's not the case. But I can tell you, everyone does have a spirit. And just like there's hierarchies within nature, there's hierarchies within the spiritual realm as well. So to better explain consciousness, soul, and spirit, I'll use a computer, for example. you know, I'm not going to talk about the Matrix. I know a lot of Hotep people, they love bringing up the Matrix, but this is like the best way that I could describe it. So we can say that the power cord is not consciousness itself. The power cord is actually your spirit. It is that activation, it's that key. Now, what is your consciousness? That is simply the program that is the, I guess you would say, modem, right? So that's the modem. That's what navigates the vessel through this, earth plane. That is what tastes and thinks and feels, right? So that's the modem. And then lastly, the screen. The screen, you could say, is your feelings. It's your immediate reaction. It's your view, your focal point, your feedback. Meaning, it allows you to look at other people's experiences. It helps with empathy. It helps with you understanding yourself. That's the screen. The screen is literally your reflection, or, the output of whatever you're experiencing, whatever the people around you are experiencing. We can call that the screen. Now, the reasons why I said the spirit was the power cord is, let's just say someone is in a coma. Now, some people would say if someone's in a coma, their brain could be functioning, and then you have some people whose brain is only functioning at a certain level, according to science. The consciousness, how we deem consciousness, is being able to respond to a stimulant. So that's the scientific definition of conscious. Being able to respond to a stimulant. And how you respond to a stimulant, what they'll do is they'll either touch the person or play a sound, and then they'll record to see if there's any brain activity or any response. For the most part, what they do is they just do a brain scan. They don't have to do any sound or touching or feeling or anything like that. They could just literally look and see if there's any electro activity going on in the brain, which then they would say whether the person has consciousness or what level of consciousness that they have. But scientifically, consciousness is your response to stimuli. All right. The reasons why the spirit is the power cord is because without the spirit, there's no mind. Now, the spirit could also be considered the RAM, or the memory card within the modem. And so we can say the spirit plays two roles. So not only is the power cord, it is the RAM. It is the memory card inside the modem. So the spirit is recording, right? Recording the stimulation and the feedback that the consciousness is. Look, I don't know how to make it any more simple. Like, I don't know how. But let me continue. Another way to look at spirit, mind, and soul. I'll speak on soul in a different video. But let's just talk specifically about spirit now. So, you have your physical body, all right? And then you have your spirit. Now, one way we can look at the spirit, since we're multidimensional, is that the body is for the physical plane, the spirit is for the spiritual plane. Okay, I think that did it. I think that was the best explanation. So the physical body is for the seeing and the feeling, and the spirit is for the unseen. All right, it's literally levels to existence. So the spirit is a part of you, but it's a part of you in a non-physical sense. Whew, I think that's much better than a computer explanation. But it's a little bit more steeper than that, but that's like the best. Wow, that's like the best explanation that I could get. So you have your physical self, and then you have your spiritual self. Oh, this is getting good. All right. I think that's the best way to describe it. Now, the spirit is what I would say higher than the physical self, because the spirit operates with the unseen and the unknown. The spirit is literally like a record of your physical experiences from a whole nother, I guess you could say, dimensional perspective. So when people say, I felt it in my spirit, they're not incorrect. Their spirit is experiencing something at a different level. And I hope I'm not losing anyone right now. So you have your physical body that's experiencing. That's how you navigate through this particular realm, right? The physical realm. And then you have your spirit, which is navigating through the spiritual realm. And your spirit is literally what activated the physical body, because we all start off as energy. As a scientists would say, where energy cannot be destroyed or created or something like that. Is that what they say? So before the physical sense is activated, the spirit must activate it. Okay, so let's put it this way. Like, since the mind and thoughts are not a physical sense, right? What drives and makes thoughts a reality outside of the spiritual plane, because we're multidimensional, is the physical plane. And my best example I could get is, if I want a bottle of water, my physical body can reach out and grab that bottle of water. And on the spiritual plane, if I'm in need of something consciously or even spiritually, the spirit or my spirit can reach out and get that for me, or reach out and direct me, or direct other things to me. So it allows me to navigate. So let's put it this way. The body allows you to navigate in this dimension, and your spirit helps you navigate in the dimension beyond. I hope I haven't confused anyone about that. So then, with that being said, we could say that the body is the manifestation of the spirit. And it's deep, I get it, but we don't have to make it hard. And that's the best explanation that I can give. And I hope that, I help people understand what is the spirit, what is the spirit. And I hope I took the confusion out of it, and I made it, as easy to understand as possible. Because trust me, when I was dissecting it and learning about it, it was like, oh my God, like I was so confused. But hopefully it helps. The next video I'll be doing is defining the soul, and that's going to blow your socks off.